Today, we are diving into some seriously cool tech. We're talking about industrial maintenance, where seeing is believing, because what you're actually seeing is sound. We're going to put the top acoustic imaging cameras in a head-to-head showdown to see which one really comes out on top. Let's jump right in. You know, in any big industrial plant or high-voltage substation, the most dangerous threats, they're the ones you can't see or hear. I'm talking about things like high-pressure gas leaks silently spewing money and creating huge safety risks, or something called partial discharge, which is basically tiny electrical sparks that are a major warning sign that high-voltage equipment is about to fail. These are quiet, invisible problems that can lead to, well, catastrophic and really expensive failures. But what if you could actually see those problems? What if you could pinpoint the exact spot of a tiny silent gas leak just by looking at it? Imagine if that ultrasonic hiss could show up like a bright flare on a camera screen. Well, that's the revolutionary promise of acoustic imaging. All right, so how in the world does this stuff actually work? Let's break down the core technology here, because it is a real game changer for predictive maintenance.
So the basic idea is actually pretty simple, but the execution is just brilliant. These cameras are packed with a whole array of super sensitive microphones. They're listening for sounds way, way above what we can hear, those ultrasonic frequencies from gas leaks or partial discharge. Then, some really powerful computers inside the camera take all that sound data, figure out exactly where it's coming from, and slap a visual hotspot right on top of a live camera feed. You are literally seeing sound.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. Now, if you just looked at this transformer, you'd think everything's fine. But through the acoustic imager, bam, you see that bright, colorful spot on one of the insulators. That's it. That's the sound of a partial discharge, an invisible and audible problem that's now perfectly located, ready to be fixed before it causes a massive blackout. Okay, so now that you get what this tech can do, let's meet the main players in the game. We're going to look at 5 of the top brands that are really pushing the limits of what these cameras are capable of. First up, we've got the HIK AI76. Now, HiMicro is a really strong competitor in this space, and they're known for packing a ton of microphones and a lot of solid features into their gear. Next, of course, is the Flir Fluke series. If you know imaging, you know Flir. They're an absolute giant in this world, and their cameras are known for top-tier performance and some really advanced software that helps you make sense of the data. Then you've got the Fluke i900 series. Fluke has a legendary reputation for building tools that are practically indestructible. Their acoustic imagers are built to be tough and super reliable, even in the nastiest industrial environments. Our fourth contender is the Megger MPAC-128. Megger is a specialist in electrical testing, and they bring something really unique to the table, an option for ATEX certification. In simple terms, that means it's certified safe to use in potentially explosive areas, like in oil and gas facilities. That's a huge deal. And finally, rounding out our lineup, we have the CRYSound CRY8120 series. This contender is all about one thing, pushing the hardware specs to the absolute bleeding edge for the best raw performance possible. All right, introductions are over. Now for the fun part. Let's line these cameras up and see how they really stack up, spec for spec. This is where we separate the contenders from the champions. But before we flash a bunch of numbers on the screen, let's talk about the single most important spec for one of these cameras, the microphone count. Just think of it like this. More microphones are like having more ears. And the more ears you have listening, the better you can pinpoint exactly where a sound is coming from, ignore all the background noise, and pick up on really faint sounds from super far away. So the key takeaway here is simple. More is always better. So with that in mind, I want you to just remember one number, 200. Because that number, that's the current peak of this market. And wow, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? On the far left, you've got CRYSound just dominating with an industry-leading 200 microphones. Then you have HiMicro with a very respectable 136, followed by Megger and Flir, both in the 120s. And way over on the right is the Fluke with 64. That gap between 64 and 200, it's massive. And that translates directly to being able to find smaller problems from much farther away. But of course, it's not just about the mics. This table shows some other huge differences. Look at the display resolution. That CRYSound screen is enormous and super high res. Think about trying to spot a tiny problem on a small screen in the bright sun. It's a nightmare. A bigger, brighter screen makes a huge difference. Then you have frequency bandwidth, which is basically the range of problems the camera can hear.
Most of the top dogs here up to 100 kilohertz. And finally, battery life. If you're using this thing all day, this is critical. CRYSound is the only one here specifying a really impressive 5 to 10 hours of runtime.
So after all that, who wins? Well, the truth is, there isn't one single winner for everybody. It's all about picking the right champion for the right job. And for us, two clear leaders emerge, each with a totally different philosophy. The choice really comes down to this: what do you care about more? Are you looking for the absolute, undisputed maximum in raw detection power, the best hardware you can get? Or do you need a super smart, all-in-one tool with advanced software and AI to help you analyze everything? They're two very different approaches, and they lead to two different answers. If your number one priority is pure, unadulterated performance, if you need to find the tiniest leak or the faintest electrical fault from as far away as possible, then the choice is a no-brainer. The CRYSound CRY8120 series is the hardware champion, period. Those 200 microphones give it sensitivity that's just on another level, and its huge, high-res screen means you can actually see the incredible detail it captures. This is the tool for the specialist who demands the best sensor that money can buy. But on the other hand, if you're looking for a versatile, intelligent workhorse that does more than just find leaks, then the Flir SI2 Pro is an absolutely outstanding choice. Flir's software is just fantastic. This thing doesn't just find leaks and partial discharge. It can also help you analyze failing mechanical bearings. And its AI features and fleet management tools are perfect for larger teams who need a smart tool that just works seamlessly with their whole operation.
So here's the bottom line. The technology to make invisible problems totally visible is here, and it is incredibly powerful. The question for pros today isn't if you can find these problems anymore. The question is how you want to see them. Whether you choose the path of maximum raw power or the path of an intelligent all-in-one system, the future of maintenance is looking clearer than ever. The only question left is, which tool fits your future?
We are FMG-TECH. Contact us for more information. Visit fmg-tech.ir.